Hey everyone, it's Hannah here from StoryV Travel and Lifestyle, and welcome to the Nomad Masterclass, where every week I interview a digital nomad who has successfully turned travel into a lifestyle to show you how you can earn an income online and travel the world as a digital nomad. So today I am joined by Leah Davis from The Sweetest Way, and
Hello.
she's also a expert Pinterest consultant. So we're going to be talking all about how she earns an income online blogging and as a consultant. So welcome, Leah. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. So I have a few questions for you today. I try not to keep you too long. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm originally from Washington State. I've always been a travel enthusiast, so I moved abroad probably 5 years ago now, and that was my first little taste of international life. And after that, I kind of realized I wanted to keep traveling, so I kind of stumbled upon the concept of location independence and working while you're traveling. So I started a blog. A couple years later, I'm able to use that to earn a bit of money, and it also kind of led to these other opportunities for making money, such as the freelancing that I do with Pinterest, and all kinds of other stuff. I've gotten freelance writing opportunities, and it's just been kind of a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm doing now, just traveling and working as I go.
Cool. So when did you get started? Did you say it was a few years ago now, right?
Yeah, with the blog, my blog originally, started in December of 2013, but I didn't really, take it seriously as a business until maybe 6 months after that.
And what inspired you to start your blog?
It was actually just meeting another travel blogger while I was in Peru. You probably are familiar with Alex Backus of Alex in Wonderland.
Yep.
She was, we actually just really randomly happened to share a taxi to a hostel in Peru, and it was her birthday that day. So we hung out, we got to know each other, and that was like my first introduction to the possibility of, the digital nomad lifestyle, because she was working and traveling and writing this awesome blog. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I want to do that. So that was really like my original inspiration.
And from the start, did you have an idea that you wanted to somehow turn this into a career?
Subconsciously, I did have that idea. Although like I said, I didn't really take it seriously in the beginning. I just kind of thought, I like writing, I'll see where this goes. And after too long, I realized there's no way I can go back to a traditional workplace after this. So I need to see if I can make this work somehow.
Yeah. And so after starting your blog, what did you start experimenting with to see if you could earn some kind of an income from your blog?
Well, one of the things the very first thing I did actually was I became a virtual assistant for another blogger. And it was really part-time, but it allowed me to learn a lot about the blogging process, blogging as a business. It allowed me to build up some new skills. And then I went back to South America, and I lived in Medellin for a while, and that's when I had my first freelance writing opportunity. I was a regular contributor to Medellin Living, which is another kind of local travel website down there. So those were really like the first two things. And I sort of I got good at Pinterest, I guess, during that time. And my first client started recommending me to other people. And so that just sort of started snowballing from there.
So you were doing Pinterest as a VA, and when they started to recommend you to other people, you started to specialize more in the Pinterest consulting. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And how do you find clients for your Pinterest consulting now? Is it all recommendations, or do you go out and do like acquisition?
The majority of it has been word of mouth. I did also write a blog post kind of just giving away all of my best Pinterest tips. And in that blog post, I used that as an opportunity to sort of plug my services and say, hey, I offer consulting. That was how I started doing these one-on-one Skype consultations, because I don't just manage people's profiles. I do that for a handful, a select few clients. And then I do have these people who come to me for a 1-hour Skype session where I just help them develop a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really been, a lot of it has come through networking, just getting my name out there. I've written some guest blog posts on how I became a Pinterest consultant, and that has led to more clients.
Yeah.
So I don't do a lot of really aggressive client acquisition because I always knew that it wasn't going to be it wasn't my main goal to be a Pinterest consultant. I wanted to do that on the side while I was building up my blog and my brand.
Yeah.
So I take what comes, and honestly, it's at this point, I'm getting a lot more inquiries than I'm able to take on, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing. But like, as a consultant, you're trading time for money, right? So it's like you can only do a certain amount before you need to start telling people no, because
exactly.
You need to have time to work on your blog as well and get that going. So and your clients are predominantly in the travel niche, right? So
they have been so far.
Yeah, and that's because they read the blog post on your travel and lifestyle blog?
Yeah, that's part of it. And also just because that's kind of the group that I hang out in, and where I do the majority of my networking. Yeah. I would love to branch out to other niches. It's just I don't really know how all the time.
Yeah.
It's easiest for me to meet travel people.
Yeah. And so before you got started with your blog, did you study at university or college?
I did. I studied nutrition at UC Berkeley before I ever decided to do any of this. But I realized a couple of years out of my degree that it wasn't what I wanted to do as a career. And that's what led me to my first, to moving over to Thailand. I realized this isn't for me. I need to try something different. I didn't know what I was going to end up doing at that point, but I have a degree and I don't use it like so many other people.
Did you work and then save a certain amount to go to Thailand and then figure out what you were going to do from there?
I actually specifically chose Thailand. I was teaching English over there. I don't think I mentioned that, but I chose Thailand specifically because I knew I could make enough money to save. I didn't have any savings when I went over there in the first place because I had just been living in New York City, which is super expensive. So I was really broke when I went to Thailand, but the low cost of living there coupled with the good salary that I was making as an English teacher for a private school allowed me to save up some money. And then pretty much every time I have tended to take these short breaks in between my big, long trips where I come back to the United States and I do a bit of work. So I've worked for temp agencies and I've done some tutoring, stuff like that. So I come back, I work, and I save up each time. Yeah.
You had knowledge and a background in nutrition. So what kind of skills did you need to develop to start your online projects like your blog and your consulting, your freelancing? Did you teach yourself these skills, or kind of like did you build it up as you went along?
I had to learn everything from scratch. I mean, my background is in science. I was not familiar with business or marketing or anything like that. So the only skill that I really had going into blogging was writing, because I've always enjoyed writing and something I felt like I was always pretty good at. But other than that, learning the basics of like coding, learning how to make graphics, photography. I didn't even know, I was terrible at photography when I first started blogging. So I've really, over the last 3 or so years, I've really developed a lot of skills that I never ever thought I would be using.
How did you build these skills? Were you taking online courses? Were you networking with other people, learning from other people?
For blogging, I did end up joining a course that helped teach me a lot of the business aspects of blogging, and that was Travel Blog Success. And just being in that Facebook group, I'm able to ask, the seasoned veteran bloggers all kinds of questions. So I did learn a lot from other bloggers, and through that course, I also find that it's really easy to just type a query into Google and find an answer to something. That's kind of how I went about coding for a little while. Actually, no, I did take a little bit of a coding course with a company called Treehouse.
Okay.
So that's how I learned the basics of coding. I think it was like a monthly subscription that I paid for. And once I realized I had the basics down, I stopped doing that. But yeah, so I've taken courses here and there. I think courses are actually a really good way to go about it because you get all the information you need in one place instead of having to piece things together from what you can find on the internet, because you don't always know if your source is good. So in the beginning, I probably did a lot more of that, like random Google searching, and now I take more courses and stuff. I'm taking like an SEO course right now, which is something I should have learned years ago.
Yeah. And did you find that when you did this coding course, did you use it in your, because nowadays with things like WordPress and themes and stuff, you don't necessarily need to know how to code if you want to start a blog, but it's always good to have a bit of knowledge about this kind of thing. Did you find that you used your knowledge in coding with your blog?
I definitely just used the basics, and that was kind of why I decided to stop, because once I had a little bit of HTML and CSS under my belt, I was like, okay, I think I can get by with most things. And if I run into something particularly tricky, I can usually find the answer on Google, or and I've very rarely had to outsource coding projects to people. I feel like I have been able to get by pretty well on what I do know. And like you said, most of it is done for you already.
Yeah. So now that you have got your blog going and you're starting to gain a bigger audience, and you've got your Pinterest consulting and freelancing, what skills would you recommend for someone who just wants to start out?
To start out as a blogger? Yeah, I definitely think, well, the basics of coding are important, but I think even more so than that, I really regret not learning SEO from the very beginning. That's something that I think because I feel like too many bloggers come in and they kind of rely on social media to bring them traffic, and that's really not a good long-term solution.
No. And for those people who don't understand what SEO is yet, basically it's search engine optimization. So everything that you do on your blog, you do so that the search engines can find it. So if you write an article, you need to be doing there's a bunch of different things that you need to have on your blog for a search engine to find it. But like, for example, if you're writing an article, you need to have like keywords. So what people are searching in Google, you need to have those specific keywords inside your article so that Google knows that your article is the answer to their issue. So, and there's a lot of things, and that's why Leah is saying that she's doing this SEO course, because there's so much behind SEO, right?
What I have been blown away by is how much more there is to it than just keywords. There's just so much to know. And like I said, I guess that's one thing, but also just generally knowing how to write for the internet.
Yes.
how to write in a way that keeps people's interest on the internet, because people have such short attention spans. In the beginning, I think a lot of people they write in just big clunky paragraphs
like this, and you're just like, I close that down now. I don't have time for that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that I picked up on much quicker than some other things, but also, that was another important one. Also photography. It makes me a little sad when I come to a blog that has so much potential to be great, but it has just really low quality images, or they're just using iPhone photography. I know lots of bloggers who've done that their whole career and they get by just fine. But I personally think a blog needs to have beautiful images along with the text.
Where exactly does your income come from? So how did you go from zero to actually becoming a digital nomad and traveling with the income you make as a location independent entrepreneur or blogger or freelancer, whatever you want to be called?
Sure. It's really changed a lot over the years. I think it's really interesting to look back and see where I kind of came from. But like I said, in the beginning, it was sort of working part-time as a VA, which I still do, actually. That's one of my sources of income still. It was a lot of that freelance writing in the beginning. Pinterest, some of the first Pinterest services I started offering were designing pins for people. So that's a really time consuming process. And if you have a lot of old blog posts to go through, people would just outsource that to me. So that was one thing I offered. Then I started doing the consulting, so the one-on-one sessions. At one point I had, I want to say like 5 different accounts that I was managing all at once, like completely like top to bottom managing. So creating their pins, developing the strategy, doing the actual pinning. So that was the peak of like last year. I was working for 5 different people. And then along with all of that, I've been building up my blog. So I think the first like few dollars I ever made through my blog were through affiliate marketing. I joined the Amazon affiliate program first because that was really all I knew about. And I sold, like, the first thing I ever sold was a camera lens, and I made $5 in commission, and I was so excited. So that's something that I'm working on building up more this year. And I took a course to learn how to do that because I was kind of just poking around in the dark before that. Yeah. I wrote an ebook, so that's have become a small source, but a constant source of income from month to month. I sell my own product, which is really cool. Yeah. And that's something that I'm really proud of. And I guess the final thing is, as of this month, I'll be starting a new freelance writing project, sort of an ongoing position as a freelance writer.
So now with your affiliate marketing on your blog, I've seen that you've written a few things about how you're working more on the affiliate marketing now. And are you still solely working with Amazon affiliates, or are you moving into different networks or products?
At this point, one of the things I learned from the course I took is that there are so many other opportunities for affiliate marketing on the web. So I've really diversified in order to bring in more income through that. So also, I was, back when I first got into affiliate marketing, my blog was a lot more travel oriented, and I've since made the switch to a focus on location independence. So at this point, I'm able to review and recommend a lot different products than I was before. So I'm not just limited to like travel gear or hotels and things like that. Exactly. Which is cool because I'm talking a lot more about the business side of, blogging and location independence. So I recommend the products and services that I use, for example, my email marketing service, ConvertKit. Yeah. That's one of the things that earns me some affiliate income each month. Yeah. I recommend my hosting provider. I recommend all the courses that I take. Yeah. I'm an affiliate for a lot of those. Yeah. So yeah, those are, I'm definitely not just limited to Amazon anymore. I really realized there's so much more out there.
And with these products and like software platforms that you're using, generally the commission is a lot higher on these things, right? Like Amazon, a lot of people start out thinking Amazon, but the commission on Amazon is so low compared to what the potential with affiliate marketing.
Exactly. Yeah. Just some of the courses that I promote now, they retail for something like $100 to $200, something like that. So if I'm earning, and the commissions are a lot higher too. So with Amazon, you're earning between 4 and 7% on each sale. But with these courses, I'm earning up to 40%. So exactly. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, exactly. And with your digital products, see, I talk a lot about digital products, affiliate marketing as well with the people who read our blog and watch our videos as well. And a lot of people are confused about what a digital product is. How do you get started? So you have an ebook, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And how did this come about? Did you just decide one day that you wanted to start writing something and it evolved from there?
I think that's kind of how it started. I did realize at a certain point that I wanted digital products to be a part of my business model, because kind of what you were saying before, how the online world can be really unstable and uncertain. And even things like freelancing, I never know if my freelancing clients are going to be there next month. Yeah. So it's not necessarily a stable source of income, but having your own product is something that will always be there and that you can always promote. Even if, God forbid, something were to happen to my blog, I would still have my digital product because it's just a PDF. I created it in a program called iBooks Author. I exported it as a PDF, and now it's mine forever.
And you have your email list. So your email list,
exactly,
is not your blog, it's your email list. So you can still, you still have, if something happens, you still have these things that will be able to generate an income for you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just an extra layer of income security, job security, to have something that you've created. And also I think the creative process was really fun. It was something that it took me so many hours and a number of months to put together. And it's probably not the best thing I've ever made. I definitely could make improvements on it. I think everybody's a little embarrassed by their first ebook, but I still look at it and I still think, man, I did that. That's really cool. And I think it's been received really well. People have given me really positive feedback on it. So and the fact that it's able to help people, because it's kind of, my ebook is kind of explaining how to become location independent, the different paths you can take and different job opportunities and things like that. So it's helping people build the lifestyle that they want. And that's something that, I've always wanted to be able to help people, and with an ebook or an e-course, you can.
Yeah. And it's important with your blog is if anyone watching is hoping to become a blogger, it's important to be able to provide helpful information to people as well. Like, because people go searching for information that's going to help them. When people go to Google, they have a query, they have a question that they need someone to help them with. So it's important to be that support with your products and with your blog, and provide good, valuable information and help within your articles as well.
Exactly. I think that was a turning point for me when I made the realization that I need to actually help people solve a problem with my blog, that it's never going to be a business unless I'm helping people solve a problem.
Yes.
I can write entertaining stories and fun stories and interesting stories, but that's not necessarily going to be something that I can scale into a business that can support me. So that was something that I was really happy to learn. And it really did. Things started to change when I finally started answering questions and providing valuable information.
Yeah. How do you stay productive while you're traveling and not fall into that like holiday mode all the time? Because I know you travel quite a lot, right? So it's important to try and keep some kind of routine, right?
Yeah. In the last year or so, I've really, really slowed down my travels because I realized that there was no way I could be productive and enjoy my travels while I was moving at a quick pace. So last summer was really the last time that I traveled quickly. Backpacking, if you can call it that, I guess that's how it felt. I was staying in hostels. I was moving. I think the longest I stayed in any one place was maybe 2 weeks at a time. And even that was hard. I was more productive than when I was moving faster, but I also didn't have quite as much work at that point. If I were to try to do that now, I would absolutely burn myself out. There's just no way you can keep up with both. And I want to be able to still enjoy my travel experiences. I don't want to feel like I'm cooped up in a hotel or wherever I'm staying and not seeing anything. And I also don't want to fall behind on my work. So it really is, you do have to find the perfect pace for you to strike a balance there and be productive and also enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And so you recommend traveling slow. Yeah.
I personally prefer to spend a good amount of time in a city to get to know it, to be able to find my way around, meet people. I've really struggled with, I guess you could say, loneliness and just that lack of a community. So staying in one place longer allows me to find that. It allows me to find people, to either other digital nomads, or make friends with locals or whatever it may be. So I would say these days I try to stay in each place for at least a month, if not longer.
So we always say that when you're running a business or trying to build your career, it's important to invest back into what you're doing. So what kinds of things do you invest in?
Lately, courses. I've spent a lot on education this year because there's still so much I need to learn. Eventually I want to be able to invest in, eventually when I'm self-sufficient and so to speak, is meaning, I'm not working for other people. I want to be able to hire my own assistant, my own VA to just kind of offload some of the tasks that I hate doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm realizing, the more my blog picks up momentum, that I really won't be able to keep up with it all forever on my own. So that's sort of like my future plan. I definitely want to, and also just things to kind of make my blog look and feel professional. So I've got a good friend who's a professional photographer, and I've hired her a couple of times. She did the photos for my ebook. She's taken other portraits for me. So I think having those really nice images has been a really good investment.
This is a big question, but what does an average month look like for you income wise?
Okay, these days, let's see, I have to think about this a little bit. At least, like minimum, I think I'm making $1,200 on a low earning month.
Mm-hmm.
And then on a good earning month, it could be closer to $2,500, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're living in really inexpensive places, it's more than enough. And you're running a business that has almost no overhead.
Exactly. Yeah. Online business, like you really don't have many expenses other than like your hosting and email, things like that. But to live in a country like anywhere in South America, Central America, Asia on $2,500 a month, you can live really, really comfortable, really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling is not really as expensive as living at home a lot of the time when you've got, a car, an apartment, and things like that to pay for.
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful that now that I have a better grasp on affiliate marketing and I'm able to put more of my energy into growing my blog, I am seeing more of that passive income coming in through just by adding in affiliate links to the blog posts that are already getting traffic. I'm earning more money without really putting in more work.
Yeah.
So I do have some passive streams of income now, which is great, through my ebook, through the affiliate marketing. And what was the other one? I have ads on my site.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So the more traffic I get, the more money I'm going to be earning from those ads. So it's all coming together,
And so finally, what tips do you have for anyone watching who is looking to start a blog or get into consulting or freelancing? What kind of strategies and things can you recommend for them to start doing?
One of the first things I always recommend people do if they want to become a digital nomad or location independent is start building that online presence, so you're going to need a website of some kind. So you need a blog, or you need a portfolio, if you're a photographer, whatever it may be, you need a way to showcase your best work online. If you're a freelancer, you need to have writing samples online, whatever it may be. So start a blog, start getting content out there, start getting your name out in front of people. But alongside that, social media plays a huge role in, it's basically free marketing. That's how I like to think of social media. You start a Facebook page, it's free. You don't have to pay for ads, so you're generating buzz around the services that you offer. But at the same time, maybe you're not sure where your skills lie or what you could potentially monetize. So my advice, if that's your situation, is to figure out, first of all, what you enjoy doing, and then determine whether that's something that people would actually pay for as a service.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any of those kind of skills, then you need to start gaining those skills, and you can do that for free online, or pay for an inexpensive course to kind of get you started. So those are the first couple of steps I usually recommend people take to get started as a digital nomad.
Cool. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching. It's been really great talking with you, Leah, all about blogging and freelancing, consulting. You've got a lot of things going on, and it's really inspiring and a great way to show other people the opportunities that are out there. So thank you so much for sharing. And
Thank you. I hope it was useful information.
definitely. And so Leah, like we said, Leah has her ebook, which talks a lot about location independence and how you can get started. So what I'll do is I'll link the ebook below, as well as her blog, The Sweetest Way, because she also provides a lot of good information on there for you to get started as well. And you'll also be able to learn a bit more about what she does as a digital nomad. And finally, I'll also leave the link below for our ebook, our free ebook, so you can subscribe to the ebook. Is called 12 Steps to Full-Time Travel, where you'll learn how people go from zero to a digital nomad in these 12 steps. So all of those links are below, so don't forget to check them all out. And finally, Leah, thank you so much for coming today. It's been a pleasure talking with you. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the year and Christmas, and enjoy your future travels next year.
Thank you, Hannah. It was really nice talking to you too.
No worries. Okay. So guys, tune in next Tuesday for another Nomad Masterclass, where you'll learn how to become a digital nomad from experts. Okay. Ciao, guys. Bye.
Bye.